Hey, it's Lindsay from Buy Sell Love Durham. Thanks for checking out another one of my videos. Now, this video today is talking about tariffs, market shifts, and just kind of how they roll out. So it's really good information. If you like these videos, they come out every week. Click the subscribe button so you don't miss any of them. And the content is based on my selling real estate for 40 years. So I've got lots of kind of feet on the ground experience to be able to share with the viewers exactly what's going on. So let's talk about tariffs. So when tariffs happen, which are happening now, the market shifts. It's a kind of a natural response to that. We're seeing that with the stock market declining and with the industries all tightening up. And I want to share an experience. So I started selling real estate in 1986. We had one of the biggest market shifts I've ever seen it was 1989. The market stopped, but from 1990 to 1991, we lost 30% of values. The values of the real estate dropped by 30%, and we went into a 13-year slump. So I was a kid. I didn't know what I was doing. I mean, like I said, I started in the late 86, and this is 89 actually. So I kind of got to know how to sell real estate, but the reality was I was still green behind the ears. So when this happened, what it forced me to do is to kind of reposition myself and look for different ways of doing business. Now, the reason that I'm kind of relating that to today with the tariffs is the fact it's exactly the same thing. Sometimes we have to kind of twist and move in a different direction if the market changes. So what ended up happening was I found out how to do business in that new market. I became part of the top 100 group out of 9,000 realtors pretty much year by year in the franchise that I was with in Canada. So really I had a chance of turning it around, but had that shift not happened, I never would have done that. So if I look at how some of the industries are managing this shift right now, I want to talk about Chapmans Ice Cream. It's the largest independent ice cream manufacturer in Canada. They employ 1,200 people. And what they've said this year is they are freezing prices, which is kind of funny because it's an ice cream company. They're freezing prices for 2025 independent of what happens with the tariffs. So what they're doing is they've said that they're going to start sourcing out, trying to find other parts of the world that they can get products from rather than from the company that's attacking us with these tariffs. So that's one thing. Number two that I see is this. The Bank of Canada is going to react. We've got a rate set coming in over the next week, and the anticipation is the rates are going to drop. So the Bank of Canada is kind of looking at this saying, how do we help Canadians by lowering mortgage rates and lending rates? It's going to be a good opportunity for people to kind of just make it a little bit easier on the families that have debt that they have. So personal choices that you can make. Number one is buy Canadian, and we've seen that everywhere. And it is kind of a challenge to buy Canadian, but some of the companies like Loblaws and places like that are starting to provide lots of information about where the products come from so you can actually make the choices to buy Canadian. Number two is this. It's not a great subject to talk about, but if you can see your job or your employee struggling because of the tariffs, there's lots of people in the auto industry in Durham region. What I would suggest you this is sit down with a financial planner or a lender or a mortgage broker and say, is there a way of consolidating my debts to get my payments down to make it easier on me? Even if it's only for a 1-year process, if it makes it easier on you, for you and your family, it's going to help you out over the next year. And the last thing is something that we all hate to do is a budget. Maybe it's time to sit down and look at doing a 12-month budget to get you through the next 12 months to say, you know, if things are going to tighten up a little bit, how do we cut out expenses to be able to kind of to not just survive, but to thrive over the next 12 months? If you've got any questions, just shoot me a message on any of my social media platforms. I'd love to engage with the people that watch these videos, and I'll talk to you next week.